I am so glad that you all have come today to allow me to share a message that Spirit gave me and that I'm excited to share. So thank you. Today we're going to have a fun message. This will help us navigate the world better with a greater spiritual heart. That is the intention. All right? So, everybody say, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Jesus spoke to the times when he spoke. And I am now guided to speak to the times today. The world that we live in is changing. Time is speeding up. You all know this. There is so much going on all around us. Sometimes we feel like we don't matter. Sometimes we feel like we are very important and we do matter. There is so much change energetically. Sometimes it's hard to stay centered in your core, the place where God is. So we have to breathe and we have to go back to what Jesus taught. So we're going to take a moment to do that. In Jesus' time, he taught about the angels. The angels ministered unto him, didn't they? The angels were always there. In our time, do we talk about the angels? Do we call forth our angels to protect our car when we're driving? Do we ask our angels to be with our children? Do we call forth the angels to help us with exams and with projects? We do, don't we? Where do the angels live? Where do they really exist? In his time, Jesus would call back a spirit. He would call back a soul to re-enter the body. There was a time when a widow was going by and crying because her only son was dead, and they were carrying his body outside the city, which was their custom. And Jesus said, don't worry. He had pity on the woman, and he laid on the child's body, the young man's body, and he called the soul forth to come back into the physical. And the man took a breath, the young man, and was alive. There was a time when Jairus came to Jesus and said, my daughter's very, very sick, please heal her. And Jesus was making his way to Jairus' home, and the servant came and said, don't come, she's dead. And Jesus grabbed the dad, and he said, do not let your faith fail you now. Don't. What is death but existence when the spirit has left the flesh? And he went, and he took James and John, and they went up to the room where the girl's body was, and he laid on the body, and he breathed breath into her, and he called forth her soul. It says that he used a word that souls know, and he called forth her soul to come back into her body, and she opened her eyes, and she said, you got any food? I'm hungry. This happens over and over again. There was a child that had drowned, and Jesus just happened to be walking by, and the family was hysterical, and the child was dead, and he used a word that souls know and called that child forth. Where were these souls? Where were they? We have ghosts in our time, don't we? We have ghosts in our time. We have people that cross over in our time. Where do they go? What do we know about that? And when ghosts come into our house, how freely do we discuss it with others? Do we say, oh, somebody just walked in? Do we say, oh, I can feel them? Because you can really feel a ghost, can't you? You feel them. Sometimes your hair goes on end if they're not complimentary to you. If they are complimentary to you, you cry because you feel their warm love around you. Yet you can't see them. You feel them before you see them. Why? Where are they? Where do they live? Where do the people that cross over live? And why don't we talk about it? You guys with me? All right. In Jesus' time, he talked with Elijah, he talked with Moses, he talked with the Brotherhood of Light. Jesus' eye saw through every dimension. And one of the things that they would ask me to read to you is in 37:8. It's very early in his teachings. A man named Agenan came. The priest. It's a good story. You should read it. Chapter 29 through 37. But Agenan had the awakening of the soul, and so Jesus taught him. And I want you to hear these words carefully. He taught him how he could control the spirits of the air, the fire, the water, and the earth. He explained to him the secret doctrine of forgiveness and the blotting out of sins. He taught him to talk to the spirits of the air, the water, and the earth. And we absolutely do know that in the text, he stopped the water. Remember when it was raging and he calmed the water? He said a word that water spirits know. It calmed. The fire that was raging, he said a word that fire spirits know, and it stopped. He said a word that nature spirits know and called a plant to go back into the ground, and it died. We know these stories, don't we? In our time, do we even think about nature spirits? What about when we are working with the weather? We all do that, don't we? Who are we talking to when we're working to the weather? God, make the weather good for us. Or do we say, God, we ask that your love flow through us, and we ask for harmony, and we talk to the nature spirits of the rain, of the weather. We ask for harmony. We ask for the sun. We ask that it pass by. Do we do this? And who are we talking to? And what dimension do these beings live in? When I was in Kansas City many years ago, 20 years ago, time is such a crunched space of perception, there was a tornado coming. I don't know Kansas City. Patrick and I were there together. We were at the airport. I don't know Kansas City. We landed because there was a tornado coming. You could see the tornado coming. And they put everybody in the basement. There's under the airport, there are places where you go because they have them often. What do? I do what I know to do. God, I ask Jesus Christ to be with me. I am praying for harmony, and then I send my prayer to the spirits of the tornado, and I say, can you please do what you need to do? Bypass the airport and harm nothing if at all possible. And you know what I heard? Who are you? I went, Our consciousness spoke back to me. Who are you? I said, well, don't you see Jesus with me? I'm a child of God. And by the way, I live in the southeast of the country. That's why you don't know me. I talk to our nature spirits around here all the time. They didn't know me. And then they went, okay, begrudgingly, okay. And it passed by the airport. Everything was fine. There's consciousness in dimensions that we are not aware of. Their consciousness. We have our place out here where the fairies are. It's our fairy garden, and I will go and talk with them, and I'm very respectful. I don't go trumping through there. I stand at the edge and say good morning, and if I need to go in, may I go in further, and they will talk to me. One day I was going through, and it was just very simple, and I said, oh, good morning. I'm always in such a hurry. Oh, good morning, love you guys. And they went, tell Shay to stop parking on our grass. And I went, what? Does Shay park on your grass? And they went, tell Shay to stop parking on my grass. Well, she came in the day or the next day, and I went, hey, Shay, the fairy said to stop parking on the grass over there by them. And she went, they told on me. I had no way of knowing Shay was doing that because I'm always in here. But she knew immediately. The message was true, message delivered. There is consciousness. For us to think that these dimensions, science tells us there are 11 dimensions that they've been able to map around the earth. There is consciousness in these dimensions, and for us to walk around thinking just because we do not see them, they are not existing and participating with this earth and with mankind. Jesus' time, they knew it. In our time, we need to own it. It's time. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just suggesting, perhaps. Okay. All right. You are already waking up to it. You just don't understand what is happening. You're already waking up to it. Because when you start seeing those dimensions, don't you freak out a little bit? Was that a fairy? Oh, no. Was that a ghost? Oh, no. We freak out a little bit because our consciousness has not been given permission to witness what is happening on the planet. We don't have permission. All right. Because this is what Spirit said, they wanted me to say it specifically this way. There are dimensions of life living at a frequency that we cannot see. Yet, if the dimensions of life is in this earth, it is interacting with it. Jesus knew it. In our time, it has not changed. So I want to shift gears. Everybody take a breath. Can everybody agree there are dimensions?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Did you know, this is information. Did you know that the Earth orbits the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour? Did you know that the Earth's surface at the equator moves 1,000 miles per hour? The equator is moving 1,000 miles an hour. So we go around the Sun and we turn around ourselves. Did you know our solar system is whirling around the center of our galaxy at 490,000 miles per hour? Did you know our galaxy is swirling around a space called the Great Attractor? All of the galaxies are moving around this space called the Great Attractor. This is new to me. And we are moving at 2,235,600 miles per hour. We don't feel a thing. And the reason we don't feel this rapid motion is because it's constant. It's constant. The example was given to me. I know a lot of us will fly, and I worked in aviation, and a Learjet is extremely pronounced. When you take off, especially in a smaller plane like that that's fast, you're pinned against the seat. The force coming up and the speed that you take off, you feel the speed. Once you reach altitude and you're flying level, are you going any slower? No, you don't notice the speed. So it is the change in the speed that is detectable. All right, everybody hold that in your brain for a minute. All right, there is a energy field that they have been able to monitor. It measures the noise level of the environment in the magnetic field from the surface of the ionosphere. And they know that it has held at 7.8 hertz for years. When we learned of this field in 1990s, it was still 7.8 hertz. But they were watching it start to trek up. And they said when it hits 14, we'll be at 0 time. Well, it hit 14. It hit 35. The other day it was at 115. The energy in the space in which we are living is fluctuating. And it's not staying at those highs, it's coming up and down. It'll peak and come down and peak and come down. Fluctuations in the energy field, this is science, it's measurable. How is that affecting us? Do you think we're feeling, whoa, fast movement? Do you think we're feeling disconnected? Do you think we're reacting to this? We're feeling it on some level. The first day on vacation, something was wrong. So Lori's my go-to girl. So I texted Lori, what's the Schumann resonance today? Because something's up. She texted back, it's 115. Okay. I sent out on my Reiki train, prayers to the earth. We need to bring the resonance down. And everyone started sending love and light. We are in a field that's fluctuating. What does that do to you? You are able to notice things. Your sleepy state of consciousness is going, whoa, 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 somebody's jostling me. Somebody's waking me up. What am I seeing? Oh my God, I just saw something strange. Something strange is happening over. No, I want to go back to bed. No, I don't want to deal with this. No, you have to. These fluxes are going to be for our good. Right now, they are simply interesting. Okay, that's fact. Science fact 1. Here's science fact 2. I quote these things. I'm not a scientist. There is an estimate that in 2011, we took in 5 times, as human beings, 5 times the amount of information we were able to take in 1986. And I remember I was working in 1986. I went back in my mind. I was in corporate, not in aviation, in another field. And my boss came to me, because they knew who I was. They always figured out who I was eventually. My boss came to me and he says, Cindy, I need your intuition. I have an opportunity to make an investment in cell towers. And I said to him, what's a cell tower? 1986, I did not know what a cell tower was. That was 30 years ago. What have we done? What have we been doing? What massive amounts of energy, vibrational stuff have we dumped into the field since then? It's massive. And guess who has radar? Every one of us, we are a computer ourselves. We are radar machines, and we are picking up on all of it. All of it. There are hypotheticals that we can amass 11 million bits of information a second. Someone says 400 billion bits of information a second. Our conscious mind can only really see 2,000 of it. But we're taking all of this in. We're taking it all in. So, can you guys feel the shifts and changes? What do we do with all of this? What do we do with all of this? I know that sometimes emotionally, those of you that are seasoned like I, we will be the treasured ones in the future because we'll be the ones that will remember the time before the electronic technological age. There were times when you knew if you were really sad, it was yours. Now you got to first assess what's happening around me. What am I attaching to? Okay, yeah, maybe a little bit of it is mine. And the same with the joy. This is my joy, this is my energy. First we have to identify where is it coming from and how do I choose to respond to it. And if we're getting in that many million bits of information every second, how challenging is this going to be to us? Amazingly challenging. So, before I go there, let me come back for just a second. In the middle of the vibrational shifts in our earth, in the middle of the massive amount of technological information that's coming, the dimensions are shifting and the veil is thinning. We are not the only ones getting affected, but every life form and every dimension is getting affected. It's not all us. And the theme of our planet is harmony. Harmony. Okay? Spirit said, our brain has traditionally created our path to God, our beliefs to God, and our connections to God. Our brain creates that. Our brain is currently being bombarded and rewired. Our earth is being bombarded. The dimensions that have always existed are becoming more connected and more visible. We are in phase 1, the awareness of the dimensions around us. Phase 2 will be the awareness of the dimensions within us. We are not ready for phase 2. We are being bombarded by vast energies that are not spiritually based. They are either neutral or mental. The vibrations, not the information itself, but the vibration the information is riding on, is either neutral or mental. Has everybody got that? That is what's coming into us. Where is the heart of humanity in this? This is why we, as a sentient being, have to continue to infuse frequencies of love. Love of God, harmony with all of life. If the phones, if the satellites, if all of the telecommunications, if all of those things that are bombarding us every day were infused with the intention of love, we biologically would receive that love and we would evolve into being the super being we are destined to become easily. Can you see that? Okay. As it comes to us in the neutral or mental format and it is bombarding and rewiring us without intention, what is that going to do to us? How are we going to respond and where is our connection to God going to be mapped? Got it? Don't you feel sometimes like you just can't reach God? Sometimes when the energy is really stressful and you go, okay, I know how to go there. I know how to get to God. I know how to get to God. And it's like too much. And you have to put crystals on. You have to do everything you possibly can just to center in. I've had people come in and they get on the table and you just do the prayer and like, oh God, I just needed that prayer. I needed the prayer. I needed to feel God again. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Me too. We need to feel God again in all the busyness and all the stuff we have to do. Some of us are being called to infuse vibrations that we as mankind have created with love. Some of us are being called to infuse the vibrations in our world with love. Some of us have to go work. Some of us work locally. Some of us do both. We are all being asked to see God everywhere. When we recognize God as creator of everything, and we see God in every dimension and every occurrence, the spiritual beings, the light beings, the fairies, the ghosts, they're children of God. God is in all of it. God is our creator. If we continue to see that, as these dimensions begin to thin, we can walk harmoniously with this world that's going to become. We will walk in harmony with this. The key is harmonizing with life, all dimensions of life. And when we feel an energy shift, it's not bad. When you feel the plane taking off and you're on the ground and you're grocery shopping, take a breath. Breathe in the love of God, harmonize with what is, go to your core. We cannot lose our core. We cannot lose our core. Our core is God. Our core is love, and we're children of God. It's not bad, it is. So, our affirmation this month is, I see the movement of God in the details of my life. God is in the details. God is in everything. There's no place that God is not. We are creating a technology life. You know, when my son was born in 85, remember the date, 85? If you had said to me that there would be a computer that would lock my house or turn my lights on, I would say, yay, for the uber rich perhaps. Not for me or the guy next door. It wasn't in my realm of possibilities, yet it happens absolutely without a thought today. We do that today. AI, tomorrow will be something, tomorrow, not in a year, tomorrow, AI will be something that we go, yeah, of course I've got an AI. Things are coming at such a rapid space that the brain is almost open to receive anything that's ready to come down. But is our heart and our consciousness ready to receive it? And here's the one thing that I want to say from Cindy. It's from my heart. If we keep looking at God and we keep saying these things can't happen because God blah blah, we can't put God is all these things. We got to get God out of a box. We got to be able to talk about God in all of this, and not just God and Jesus and the traditional way and holding the line. That connection to God will not survive. This is what I'm telling you. That connection to God will not survive the technological life. Yet God is all of life. So we have to open to moving into a new paradigm of realization, God everywhere. Christ in human, Christ children of God everywhere. And get the paradigm not in the old doctrine, but in the evolving doctrine. But I am telling you, and I will say it again, you will be called to put love into frequencies, and you will not know why you are doing it, but you will be called to do it, and I want you not to question. I don't care if you're walking by a big box and Spirit says, put your hand on that box and put some love in that box. An electronic box in somebody's yard. Do it. Do it. And I'm not saying make that your mission, because if you're not called to do it or asked to do it, it won't have any effect. It won't have the effect. But we need to be aware that as we are vibrating that love, we're going to affect the whole. And this new frequency needs our love. It needs the love of God in it. So, we as Christed beings can allow the technology to lift us into higher understanding of what life truly is. Phase 1, understanding the dimensions of life. You're going to go into your world. There's going to be strange things happening. You're going to see things that you didn't see before. It's like, why is that there and not there, and why is this happening and that happening? And you're going to first go to your brain and you're going to say to yourself, I might be going crazy. You will, because it'll be so strange. But instead, I want you to go here and I want you to say, God's in this. God is absolutely in this occurrence, no matter what I think is happening, and I'm going to stand on that. And show me what I need to do, and let me cooperate with whatever I need to do in this. But what is yours to do is to love and allow this shift in vibration to serve you and not hinder you. Ask it to serve you and serve the God within you. I want everybody to consciously take a breath. So let's go within. Let's put our feet on the floor and take a breath. God, I ask that your infinite light just engulf each person here. And I want you guys to allow your mind to see your energy field and ask that a column of light come over you. And I want you to just become aware of the vibrations in your field. And feel your heart. And now we're going to ask, Father, Mother, God, we ask that your love now move through every vibration in everyone's field. And you may see some frequencies change color or slow down or vibrate differently or make different patterns. Let the love of God move through the vibrations in your field. And in your heart, I would ask you to consider this statement. Father, Mother, God, I now ask that all energy that comes into me is altered to become harmonious with the Christ I am. I ask that all energy that's coming into me become harmonious to the Christ I am. And as I say those words, if you can feel them or say them to yourself, feel the shift in the field. I am in the world, but not of the world. I am in harmony. And let your heart light come on and feel your core. I am love. I am God's love. We thank you, Father, Mother, God. Take a breath. Let your love fill the room. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you remember the energy when you have those moments of interesting fluxes in the field around you, because it's happening. Realize it is not destructive. It is simply the dimensions are folding in on each other. And perhaps our ultimate realization in the next 100 years might be cooperative living with all life forms. Wouldn't that be a wonderful goal to move toward? Say yay, God.
Yay, God.